Block Party live stream. And same as usual, we're going to be doing some live trading today. And I just want to start off with a recap of how we've been doing, which is pretty awesome. Now, I just need to warn you that we have switched over to a different live streaming bit of software. We're using Streamlabs. It's actually pretty cool. You can actually see the slight improvement from the other live streams that we've done. It looks a bit cooler, a bit neater. What we've managed to do is if you see down at the bottom here, we've managed to cut out the positions and the unrealized P&L, so you can actually see the trades working on the exchange without having to take up so much of the real estate of the screen, which I found relatively annoying because it's not naturally how I trade. Usually I've got a couple of screens dedicated to it. Makes it a little bit easier for me, to be honest. But for the sake of the stream, I wanted you to be able to see everything. But no, so we're now playing with this, and you can see the actual trades that we're taking. So we know we're not faking till we make it. But as you can see here, we've got the MEXC results on how we've been doing. We started trading with the indicator on MEXC with the $100 balance 12 days ago on the 20th. Obviously, I've taken quite a few days off, with weekends, and I haven't been trading a huge amount. In fact, only really 15 trades. There's been a couple of extra trades, actually. No, there haven't actually been any trades. So one thing that I'm going to do moving forward is I'm not going to include trades that are closed at break even, because sometimes you want to close trades when they close at break even because it's a pretty good idea if it's going the wrong way, but you shouldn't actually be. Why is my chat not working on this? Let's take a little look. Again, like I said, you have been warned. We have some new software that we're using, so just want to make sure that it's all working great and everything like that. So it doesn't look like I can sort my chat out. Stream tree out, read only, edit your stream title. No. How exciting. We'll keep an eye on it. So I apologize now. Wow, what are we doing? Go away. Apologize now if we don't get back to you, but yeah, I just want to. Oh, there you go. Straight up, I want to offer promotions on Twitch. There we go. Good. Chatbots. So that's working at least. Yeah, so forgive me if I don't get back to you straight away. I just need to work out how to use it a little bit more. But more to the point, we are actually... Oh, there you go. It is on the screen. I want to offer promotions to your channels. Look at that. Straight on it. Let's close that down for now. We don't need to see that shit. Yeah, so things have been going pretty well. Started about 12 days ago. Had a few days off for weekends and whatever. But yeah, as you can see, things have been going pretty well. And we've had 15 trades in total, 13 wins, 2 losses. And as I said as well, I'm not really including any trades. They're pretty much I'll close at break even. Now, we can be pretty... I'm not kind of saying you can be subjective about it, but just be realistic about it. If it's if it's less than $1, let's say, we're using a $10 kind of risk and it's less than $1, I deem that as kind of like a break even target. So you might get caught out with closing with a taker fee trade, and even if you do manage to nail it on 0% or as close to 0% as possible, you'll still get hurt by the fees. So I don't deem that as a loss, and equally I wouldn't deem it as a win either. So I would scratch that from the record personally. I haven't actually done that with any of these trades yet. But just so you know, moving forward, that if I do have any break-even trades that end up in a minor loss or a minor win, then I probably won't include them because I don't really deem that as a full trade. I deem that as a trade setup that you just want to kind of get out of and close it down. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment. I will learn how to do these messages at some point, but now is probably not the time. So let's see how the equity curve is looking. So it's not so much a curve as it is a set of stairs at the moment, but it's a good set of stairs going in the right direction. As you can see, we started at $100. We're now at $153. We're 53.09% up, which is a very easy maths, very, very cool. You can check out when I started in the live stream, so you know I'm not uh, joking about. We can even have a look at the position history, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to look at the position history. Pretty sure you just want to see me do some trades, which is fine. But we are still going to be sticking to 10% of $100. So probably after, maybe after a couple of weeks, I will up the account a little bit. Maybe reinvest this and start at like 150, or even if we get to 200, then I'll start at 200, and that's where our kind of like our new starting point will be. So let's just jump into what we're looking at the moment. As you can see, this was the trade that I took a little bit earlier on. We didn't quite leave it. I could have left it really, and it would have gone to full take profit. So I jumped in here, and we went up, and then it sank back down. We do actually have a potential open trade here. So you see this signal just here. Um, this would have been alerted in the channel. If you're part of the actual premium group, you would have been alerted about this trade. So yeah, I mean, you can go jump in on these ones. You don't have to be an absolute ninja. The scanner channel in the premium has both futures, longer term futures, and also scalping trades as well. So you can take advantage of them. Now, this is quite a cool trade because this actually signals an entry point just here, as you can see. But we haven't where I would put my stop loss for this trade and also my take profit would be probably around here. Now, I know there's going to be a bit of volatility coming in later on, and I am feeling slightly bearish on Bitcoin. Not feeling slightly bearish, but just in general, things are looking pretty bearish at the moment. We're in a pretty obvious range. Just bear in mind that we are on the 3 minute time frame at the moment. So yeah, don't start thinking that this is going to be going on and on and on and on. But when I say a range, this is what I'm talking about. Like it's quite clear that we're just rattling around in here. So we can do one of two things really. I mean, you can just wait to get yourself a better position. If you've got a signal coming in, you can wait yourself to get a better position somewhere up and around this region, and kind of it'll organically go down. You can take profit a bit early if you want. Um, but I'm going to lean on the strength of this range at the moment. And the good thing about this range is we've got a test all the way down here, which does mean we could actually test back down again. We are trading underneath the 20 daily moving average, exponential moving average. And for me, that's always been a very kind of good, strong, prominent support and resistance in that sense. So since we broke through here and we've been trading consolidating underneath, I think we might actually slam down a bit further. So with that in mind, I think we're going to have a bigger move in the shorter term. So therefore, I think I'm going to go for a little bit more of a bigger stop loss just here. So when I say like bigger stop loss, what I'm actually looking at is this little peak pivot, whatever you want to call it, just here. So we'll nail that on there just so you guys can see. And this arrow is now pointless because it was pointing up there and it just got shifted out. So my stop loss is going to be here. What I usually do is I'll usually give myself a little bit of breathing space just in case it does go up there and it gets rejected down. I don't want to get stopped out and wicked out unnecessarily. But at the same time as well, I really don't want to push it too far, because when I push it, like the further I push my stop loss, the further I have to push my take profit. It's sat at 99. Where I don't think the risk reward police are going to come and get me. But what's good about this is, like I said, my original entry would be just down here if had I have gone it on this signal. But we've actually gotten to a better place. So I'm going to stop talking too much about it, and I'm actually going to get a trade in. So what we're looking at the moment is actually we're going to readjust this because I've just realized I've set the there we go. Let's actually get this trade properly set up. So the stop loss doesn't need to move, but what we can do now, this is great. So this is the strength of making sure you get a better entry. Now we can bring our take profit right up. And so as opposed to aiming down here, we're now going to be comfortably within this kind of, we've got 2 tests down here, which means that there is a chance it could have rebounded there. So it means that now we've got a little bit more of a chance of this closing in profit. So at the moment, we're looking at a 0.58% stop loss. Let's just pop that into the calculator, 0.6. Oh, that's already on there. So we'll go with that. So 1,667 is what my risk is going to be for this trade. There's my mouse gone. There it is. It's actually already in there. That's great news. So let's get that trade in there. It has not opened just yet. You should be able to see the open order just there as it gets opened up. And we've just opened, which is good. Yep, to confirm. Oh, it's proper pushing through. Don't push through too much. Reject, please. Reject. Thank you. And then, yep, you can see the trade just here. Let's make sure that's all come up nice on the stream. Yeah, you can see everything coming in just there, which is great. We don't need to adjust any of that. So that looks pretty good to me. Let's see what the other view looks like. Before we do anything, let's get the stop losses in. It is pumping up a little bit, so let's just be a bit careful there. My stop loss is going to go. No, I don't want to copy that. I do not care for copying that. I want to copy the price. Oh, we can just use this. You can use either one. You can copy the price straight off the chart, or you can copy the price if you're going to set it up this way. So let's add the price in. And then we'll change the view of that a little bit to make it look a little bit easier for you guys to see. And again, if I take a hedge trade, doesn't look right. Open shorts. So that is 1-to-1. So I think the slippage has given me a bit of a better entry, which is quite nice. Interesting. What was our entry price there? 28,500. How has that adjusted everything? Not at all. And where's my stop loss on here? One of these days, they'll make a platform where everything will just fit very nicely together. And that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Instead of having to jump around so many different screens. And to take profit price, of course. It's just such a headache sometimes. And it makes you panic. It makes you panic unnecessarily as well. It makes you kind of settle for... And to take profit price, I have done. Thank you. 130, that looks a little bit more like it. My stop loss price is imbalanced. We don't need that. We've got, right, so what we've done is we've got our trade set up. We're all in there now. 28,573 is my entry. 27,583 is... It's very bizarre. I think I might know what the issue is. So 28,573. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense now. So we can actually move our take profit up yet again, which is quite good. So due to the slippage and time that, well, not slippage, but when I actually entered the trade, it pumped up and it got in a little bit late. It actually got me a better position, which is pretty cool. So I can now move my take profit up yet again on the actual exchange, which we'll do now. And we'll see where this goes. And let's get rid of that, hit that in there, take 100. Hit close. And basically doing it this way, it sets up a limit order. I thought it was in balance there. So now we've got one-to-one trade set up. It's pretty cool. And we'll see how this all goes. And it's always good. I like these signposts, as you can see just here, because it gives me a nice little snapshot of what's happening. And, this is an open trade. We can see it's open, but sometimes it's nice to scan on here, especially if you've got some of these stacked up, like if you've got 3 trades open, and we've actually just got a bullish signal there, very typical. So we might be hedging this trade, but we've got quite a good entry, so maybe if this pulls back down, we can take a long as well. So we're in a very good position to potentially get a long and a short win, but we'll let this... We'll see if this retraces a little bit first before jumping straight in. Like I said, I always like to aim for a better entry if and where possible. But I do want to sort out this layout. I think this could look a little bit better with a list view. Yeah, that looks way better. So you can see the list view down here now. So this is the trade that we've got set up. Looks much, much better. And yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right. So we've got one trade open, and we're just going to wait for... Let's get rid of this line just here. We know where our range is. And a bit more visibility on the chart. So in a nutshell, what we're looking for is a better entry than this, because this line right here is where this signal would have triggered me. So had I been, had this system been automated, let's say, then I would have gone straight in at this point. But if the price retraces a little bit down here, then I can get a much better price, and that's what I'm aiming to do right now. And we'll see what happens. Give it a little while. And we can leave this up and running. I do hate bots, like on chat bots mainly, especially on things like YouTube. So we'll keep that up there, and we can monitor how this goes. And if we see the price drop down a little bit, which I'm hoping we do, we'll jump in on that trade. Looks like it's wavering as well. The indicator, which is pretty handy, has just drawn on this trend line right here, which I think we should pay attention to, because Luke, and that's going back there, isn't it? That is almost looking like a bit of a divergence, though. You see right here, see this line coming down, and then we've got divergence there. Now, this is triggered because it thinks it's going to break out, but it looks like it might have been rejected from that CVD. A bit of a range, so I think we might be seeing a bit of a double top here on the CVD, and just there, and just here. So if we do retrace here, I'm cautious about opening this long at the moment until it gets really decent retrace. So where would I be looking at setting my take profits here? Well, again, I know I'm in this ranging section, so I don't want to be too sharp, because I do feel like we'll retest this area. So I think we would get stopped out. So something around about here would be kind of a stop loss that I'd be looking at. The problem with that one, though, is it puts my take profit quite high. So yeah, if I can get an entry down here, then this is what will happen. Then it means that I can bring my take profit much further down into the actual ranging period, which should be about here. So that would likely be a better entry. Like I said, I'm in no hurry to enter that. Like the price isn't moving too crazy at the moment. You watch it shoot up and knock me out of this trade, but it doesn't seem to be moving too much at the moment for anything to be too worried about. I think let's just share this to live stream to the channel so people can follow along.
Welcome to Block Party.
Not too sure how we can do that. Okay, let's see what happens. We'd enter a few longer term trades as well. We're live on Twitch at the moment, so that's all going well. There you go. You can actually see my Twitch screen there. Checking it out. I wonder why it's not appearing on there. There we go. We can get that one back up so you can see the price. Again, all very new to this streaming business, but we'll get there. We'll make it look smooth. I just wish we get the chat up. That'd be nice. But let's get Rickety elect. Live stream in progress. Come join along. Let's keep an eye on this trade, see how it's going. I'm pushing down a little bit, that'd be nice. So I've already had one trade today, which took me to, I think it's about 4 or 5%. So 4 or 5% up in the day. General target is around about 10 to 20%. If we get 20%, that's a great day, and I'll be definitely down tools. If we pull out anything above 10% is really good as well. So I'm quite happy if I hit 10% to then push it for another trade, depending on how I'm feeling. But you know, trading is not all about turning. Like, number of trades you take doesn't mean how that you're going to make loads of profit. The quality of the trades is the thing that matters. Making sure you exit the trade when you're comfortable to, or when you've kind of reached your general targets. That's what you're looking to do mainly. But we do have, so on the 6 hour time frame, which is my favorite for swing trades, and certainly with this indicator, we do need to be a little bit worried today because we've got the PMI data dropping. And the broad outline is that when this is below 50, as you can see just here, when it's below 50, it can determine that manufacturing industries are in decline. Remember that this is all in the US, but the US does very much dominate like the kind of the market news, and the world does react to it quite heavily, even though, you know, unfortunately, you know, the way things work is America is pretty much the center of the universe for finance and stuff like that in the economy. At the moment, we'll see how that pans out with the whole dollar and everything like that not being as prominent as it once. Well, it's still pretty prominent, but you know, we might be seeing like the yuan kind of starts to step up a lot more, certainly with like European trade. But we'll see what kind of happens there. Anyway, you know, I'm getting very speculative about that. The reality is no one really knows what's going to happen, or massively exactly how it's going to impact the market, because how it transcends into crypto is a different story. A lot of people kind of have conviction coming into these, which I always find relatively funny. You know, we can very much give a good idea, a good outline of what might happen, but the reality is how people react to this stuff is always can be quite randomized, because, you know, depending on who you are and who they are and what kind of like demographic it is. People will react different ways and see opportunities where others won't, and vice versa. So what we do know is when there is significant data, CPI for sure, general Powell talks, we see volatility. So it's always be conscious of what style that you're trading in. I've got 2 stop losses here. Let's have a little look into that. I don't want 2 stop losses. I want 1 stop loss. Let's get rid of you. Double stop loss. Make sure. I wonder if that'll halve my slippage. I very much doubt it. So we're actually just pushing up at the moment. So let's keep an eye on that. If we break out of this local thing, then we could be in a bit of danger. But right now, I am hoping we are not. But yeah, so TradingView is great for this. Where else is really good for this? So there's a place called Forex Factory, which it's got a few other sister channels, all of which do the same thing. They give some like really good news, Fed data, and you can put it into calendars. You can get yourself alerts, which is really good, and you can actually isolate which is the most impactful ones. We use it a lot, and it's a real helpful reminder of just being a bit cautious about overloading or overexposing trades when you're going into the announcements for them. So just be wary of them. Just need to mention as well, like all of our trading, block parties trading, we exclusively use the block party indicator. On there, you've got all sorts of stuff, everything from these weekly pivots, moving averages, support and resistance, trend lines, all the stuff that really is kind of helpful. But for a lot of people, most importantly, these are very, very powerful signals that generally average around about 60 to 70%, depending on what asset and time frame you're trading on. We tend to trade on, well, I personally trade on the 3-minute and the 6-hour. 3-minute for scalping, day trading, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the top 10 assets in crypto. Had a lot of success with gold. A little, like, I wouldn't advocate Forex so much. Forex can move quite differently to gold, stocks, and it does. It does move very differently to crypto, Forex, stocks, because the way that it generally works is it kind of bands around a median line, whereas the rest of the assets, they generally have an upward trajectory over long enough, as history tells us anyway. So yeah, just be mindful of that. Like I said, my favorites for trading are the top 10 crypto assets, and gold is where I'll trade a lot. I don't trade gold so much anymore. That was more of just branching out, learning MT5 a little bit more, and everything around about that. That's more of just a bit of an insurance policy for myself. Like, trading can pretty much translate across pretty much all assets. That the general mindset is the same. The good thing about gold, especially, is that it is very respectful of technical analysis. Of course, it does have external impacts and pressure from Fed announcements and that general flow of money that you do need to be aware of. And so you can trade it. You definitely can trade it fundamentally and based on news announcements and stuff like that. But also, you can trade gold super well with really, really well technical analysis. Things like if you've watched any of my other stuff, I'm not the biggest advocate of Fibonacci retracements and stuff like that. I know there's probably a lot of people out there saying, you're stupid for not. I'm not saying it doesn't work. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't use it. It's not my bag. But for things like more traditional assets like gold, metals, stocks, and actually Forex, Fibonacci is great. And people do use that a lot, and it does respect it a lot as well. So this trade is pushing up. We'll see where that goes. So we're currently, last bit, we've got plenty of room, so I'm not worrying too much, not worrying at all. We do have a second bullish signal now. Again, I'm not going to panic and pull the trigger just yet. I'm going to wait for retracement and then get in here, and I'm going to hedge my bets. And I've got to remember that I'm still 5% up at the moment for the day, 4.5%. So I'm not going to cry too hard. and we'll see what we can get. But let's wait for the retracement. What I want is a nice strong wick down and a bounce, and I'll take the longs. That'll be the perfect scenario. Keep an eye on that. There's another rejection from this little trend line that we've identified. So that actually could be a very nice indication that we're going to go down. We'll see. We'll see. It's only on 3-minute time frame, so fortunately we don't have to wait very long. But more to the point, let's see what's going on in the world of swing trades. We've had quite a few signals come through for 1 o'clock, so we've got quite a few to check out. I'm going to ignore the BTC trades. I don't look after them. Nick does, so I don't have to worry about them. RNDR. Now, this has had an absolute rout recently, and I might take a short in this one. We've got an insanely obvious bearish divergence coming here. So realistically, we've kind of been waiting for this signal, which is basically telling us that we're starting to dive down. And we won't see this signal. Let's see what we're dealing with. Try and match these two up. So this is great because it gives a bit more of a relative perspective. So we're not really breaking down just yet. We do have a significant breakdown in this channel. Whereas you don't want to start seeing pivots where there's not. Could we be pulling the trigger a little bit too early on this one? Maybe. How far back do we go on this? Like I said, I mean, that is a very obvious divergence we've got going on. For those of you who don't know what divergence is, I think I might actually make... Right, hold on to your hats, guys. Big changes coming in here. You ready? Here it comes. There we go. Going to make this line a little bit bigger, thicker, so you can actually see the divergences on the stream. Yeah, like I said, it's big changes. Don't want to disrupt the world too much, but there we go. So here we can see a bearish divergence. We've got a descending price movement on the CVD, and then the price is moving up. But interestingly, we are on Monday and we've got a bearish pivot. I am 100% going to take this trade. I preach about these all the time. I love weekly pivots. Bang, right here. So these get filled loads of the time, and we've got a real kind of signet, like there's 3 good confluences here for me to take this trade. And what I love as well is we've retraced a little bit. You know, I could be wrong because what RNDR has shown us is quite some significant movement. So we could just ignore this technical analysis and blast straight through. But usually we would at least test the pivot, if not kind of like fill the whole thing. And we don't want to get too aggressive on that. Stop loss just in case there's a little bit more pressure. So let's give it a bit more, 8%. There we go. I mean, it would make sense, really. Yeah, we've got like that would be quite a safe trade, I'd say, arguably. You know, we've got the 20 EMA coming up here, so it still puts us within enough room to enough time to get down here before we start to use this again as support. We've got the weekly pivot down here, which is usually quite highly filled. We've got the bearish divergence. I mean, if you look down here, let's get off this. If you look down here, we sort of, no, there wasn't a bearish divergence there, or there for that matter. Okay, no, it's our first time we've actually seen a bearish divergence on this pump up, so that's quite a big tell for me. We saw a very significant one here that it respected. So as that price is moving up, we saw it dip down. Great buy opportunity just there, and pumped up. That would be a nice little trade to take on the way up. So yeah, we'll jump in on this this trade here. I like the look of it. And this is going to go through to our automated trading system on Annie. And it's really good, actually. You really don't have to do anything. We manage all of the risk and everything like that. You don't really have to, you literally don't have to do anything. You just have to decide how much you want to invest. And risk, you can change the risk yourself. We have some people doing crazy risk, which is fine. But you really, that's down to you. We don't advise anything to use. We use, well, I use around about 0.5% per trade. Which is nice and chilled. We've got a max limit of around about 10%, so we won't ever breach that. Generally, it sits around about 5, which again, we don't really get to. We don't often hit, to be honest. Like, we very, very rarely kind of stack the trades. The only time that we'd really do that is if there's really obvious kind of directional movement. And even then, though, like you've just got to be so kind of conscious of stacking tons of trades at once, because the way that Bitcoin generally moves is, sorry, the way that the crypto market generally moves is in accordance with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, generally the market goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, generally the market goes down. So if you end up taking a ton of trades in one time period, let's say, generally the most of the market will be in a very similar position, depending on what Bitcoin's doing. So, long story short, all you're doing is kind of overexposing yourself at that period. Now, if you are staggering your trades, if you're taking one trade every, let's take 6 hours, for instance, you'll probably be awake for 2 or maybe 3 of the signals that will come through. So you'll be awake for the 7 o'clock, the 1 o'clock, and then the 7 o'clock. And then you can take 3 of those trades a day. That's quite a nice kind of staggering. Generally, I would look, say with futures, for instance, I'd look around about 1 to 2 trades per day. It's been very, very low recently because I just have not liked the market movement. It's not filled me with a huge amount of confidence. So I'm getting a little bit more confident now, as in a little bit more bearish. And I think, we'll take a look at Bitcoin in a second, but I do think that we're going to go down for a little bit. Not too long, but I do think we're going to stack down. I'm not saying in the next 5, 10, 15 minutes or even day for that matter. But I do think that we are going to track down just a little bit. So the scalp is looking a little bit nice now. So let's just jump on that. There we go. That's a bit better. I can see it easier now. Yes, we can see everything. That is great. And yep, as you can see, our little scalp trade is starting to turn good, and we'll see where that goes. So maybe when we get about halfway down, we'll look at setting up a long. If we get halfway down, I'm not counting my chickens just yet. So we'll see how we go. Yeah, like I said, we do have a little bit of a divergence, and this will be really, really encouraging if it goes down a little bit further. I think that would be a good enough confirmation to say that the bearish divergence is on. Like that, I'm a little bit reticent about taking these longs. So I'm not going to take 2 longs, but you watch it pump up, and I should have taken 2 longs there. I do this every time. I never listen to what the indicator's telling me, and all you have to do, honestly, all you have to do is just take the trades when it tells you and stop trying to be a smart ass like me. And, 60 to 70% of the time, you'll be right. And we know this. We've done all the back testing, and yet I can still convince myself to not jump in on these trades. So sometimes it pays not to overthink. But so far it's looking okay. We'll see how this trade pans out. So we've just taken an RNDR short in a live format. I'll probably chart this up actually and share it out to TradingView. So like I said, the significant things so that you guys can all see this is untested, if I can learn to spell, untested weekly pivot. Right there. we got room to move down before 20 daily. EMA is tested again. What else we got? We said the obvious one, which is the bearish divergence. And then, of course, we've got the indicator signal. And we're not looking for anything extravagant here. We just want to get ourselves into this area down here. We're operating on a risk reward, so it's a 1-to-1. So it's, like I said, we're not looking for a massive move. We're looking just to hit that target, and then we'll get to the profit that we're looking for. And what we do look for is a 1-to-1 risk reward, and that's what we've tested everything. So we'll stick with that. So let's publish this idea. DR. Super simple, short trade. You know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. You're getting a lot of bad typing. There you go. We do always do the same. Share that to Twitter. Yeah, if you're not following us on Twitter, follow us there. It's at Block Party Trade. We can't do Block Party Trading because it is like 2 letters too long, which sucks, but it is what it is. I swear by the house rules. And let's link back to one of our other ideas. And that's it. This is kind of like how we approach a lot of our trades. We don't look for all of the planets in the world to align. We look for a kind of 2, 3 key confluences that we have found very successful for us over time. And the thing you've got to understand with technical analysis is you are at the mercy of Bitcoin. Simple as that. If Bitcoin wants to move or in a different direction to what your technical analysis is saying, then it will take down all of your trades at the same time. So you kind of like at the mercy. And this is, I suppose, why I don't like to trade so much swings, because for me, it's just, I don't know, it kind of like leaves a lot to the mercy of the market, which I don't like. So that's why I really like the scalping and everything like that. So if you do want to follow us on TradingView, then you can kind of follow along with all these ideas as well, which is pretty cool. And yeah, you get to see a little bit behind the scenes somewhat. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I do need to figure out how to get on top of the comments and stuff like that. Could I follow? I think you can compile them all onto Streamlabs. If you guys use it a lot, then let me know, and I can learn from you here. I know a good bit about trading. I don't know a lot about live streaming because I've only been doing it for a short while. And it is quite good fun, actually. I didn't know how I was going to enjoy it or not, but it is quite good fun. Like you just sit here and you talk about pretty much what you do every day, which is cool. As we can see the trade, we're consolidating here. I think we are actually going to shoot down, which would be very nice. And then that will hopefully take us, I'll try and stick this to full profit. And that'll take us to 15% for the day, and then about 63% in total. Should be pretty sweet. So are we selling and buying the dip or holding like Spartans from Romulo on Telegram? Well, let's have a look at Bitcoin on the longer term time frame. and we will answer that in the best way. This is super interesting about TradingView, which I wish they would sort out. Um, as soon as you publish an idea, then you obviously go back onto the screen, great and everything like that. But it then ignores your keyboard. So it won't, if you press delete, it will ignore that. So you always have to refresh the screen if you want to type anything, or pretty much like this now, then it just ignores it. So I don't know. Like I feel like I'm a thorn inside to pretty much every single uh, like TradingView, smart trade platform, because I'm always asking for things. I'm always, a lot of it does come from the community, to be fair. It's not just me being awkward and constantly pestering them about kind of cool features. Some of the features, are pretty cool and they do get integrated. And some features kind of require a much bigger dev team to come on board to sort out. Um, but yeah, my wish list is huge, always huge. So this is one of the things that I will probably put on the burner. Like I said, I keep pestering these TradingView a lot about integration of brokers. Um, because I honestly think TradingView potentially could be the best trading platform in the world. Um, reason being is if they had things like MEXC integrated, I'll show you the exact example. I go on about this quite a lot. In fact, that'll fuck the layout out. So in TradingView, you can pretty much go down to the trading panel at the bottom and you can add any broker. Well, not any broker, like there's quite a lot of Forex ones and a few crypto ones. There's Binance, OKEx, now BitGet as well. But what they do is they allow you to execute the trade and place the actual buy or the sell, but it won't send through the take profits and stop losses. So you still do need to go through to the exchange and place those, which is a little bit pointless. Like my dream is, you send through the trade, it sets your market stop loss, and it sets your limit order, take profit, and your limit entry as well, obviously. And you don't really have to think about it. And you can also stack the trades as well, as instead of having to go into each individual trade um, and then kind of figure out how much you want to buy or sell at that stage. You can just send a new trade through and it will just set them all separately. Instead of giving me, I don't want an average buy price, I don't want an average sell price. I want to see each of my orders and trades separately. So it seems like a very simple fix, but it's obviously not because it's not been done yet, or they haven't really thought of it. But again, it's not exactly um, it's not rocket science, is it? But anyway, so let's see what is Bitcoin doing. And as I've said last time, I think short term could be quite nice. Could be quite a bullish move. We have this, to me, it's definitely a swing low. It's definitely a pivot there. We've seen some movement up. This is quite interesting, this dump here, because what you can see quite obviously is this ascending wedge. I say a narrowing wedge for some reason then. Like I've literally never said that in my life. Ascending wedge here. We did, as I mentioned before, we did find this support on the 50 daily moving average. I want to say DEMA all the time, but what that can mean in like literal terms is double exponential moving average, which it's not. It's a daily exponential moving average. But yeah, for the sake of this, I'll probably say DEMA just to really confuse the shit out of everyone. But interesting, we bounced there, we pumped, and a lot of this dump, I think this dump here was the Mount Gox nonsense. So that tweet went around that everyone thought Mount Gox was sending out all of their Bitcoin, and I'm in two minds about this, to be quite honest, because I'm not so sure everybody's going to sell straight away. Like I kind of think that we've tested 30K. We're clearly going to break 30K again. I think when Mount Gox Bitcoin gets sent back to everyone, I'd be amazed. Like after all this time, if people have held onto it so well, not held onto it, forcibly been held onto it for so long, but more to the point, been in the space, been aware of the space that long ago, I think they should be aware enough to not sell it all. I'd like, yes, maybe they'll sell some, get a nice little payday for sure, because I'll be, heavily up at the time. It'll be let's face it, we're not in the best economic times right now. So some people might actually be needing it. So they might sell off for sure. But I think certainly some of the bigger whales and stuff who will probably move the market more significantly will probably not sell. Again, I can't be right. You just kind of like with these things, you've kind of got to put yourself in their mindset a little bit. Like, I guess the good thing is to ask yourself what you would do. Would you sell it straight away or would you let it go up? And that would probably give you a pretty good indication of what might or might not happen. In regards to the scalp, though, it's looking quite good. We're actually 2% up on entire capital. It's always, this we are using 10% of the entire balance. Well, not anymore, actually. We're using 10% of $100. So it's now more down to around about 6.6% because of the profit we've made so far. So I can up it, but it's just for the sake of this. I quite like sticking to that $10 risk. 10% of $100, so $10, 10% risk per trade. We had a little, we changed it a little bit for the last stream, which is fine, but yeah, I think we'll keep it at this for a little bit, like I said, until it gets to hopefully we can double it, get it to 200% up in the next few days, maybe next few days. I'm going to trade a bit more actively now. I've got a better live stream set up, a lot of developments out the way with kind of, like I said, we updated all the channels to make it a bit easier for everyone to see, but also more importantly, add a whole bunch of new stuff in there, like on-chain data. We'll have a little look, see what new stuff's come in there, talk a little bit about the news. 3 p.m. today, UK time, we've got the PMI dropping. So if you're part of the premium channel, make sure you check out the trading analysis channel because it's got a full breakdown there of what we think is going to happen. I've got to keep some stuff reserved for the premium members, but definitely join guys, because you get a 7-day free trial across all of our services, including the indicator, which I use right here to take all the trades. But in regards to Bitcoin, we are coming up to a small consolidation within a much bigger move. So what I think is going to happen? Well, quite simply, if we lose this, we've got two very significant, that's a bit exaggerated. We're kind of going to be working towards this section here. And the reason why I'm saying around about this region of 24,400, which is quite a big drop, is because this is where we start to see a good bit of price action, and also the 200 DEMA. So we've got this good bit of price action here, this good bit of price action here, the 200 DMA, but also we'll be losing a upwards trend line, and also, we're flipping this weekly pivot here. We smash straight through that, and also we'll be losing the 50 DEMA. So yeah, I do think we could smash it down. This is why I'm a little bit bearish at the moment, because I'm not so sure this will hold, and that's quite a meaty drop. That's like 10% drop. So you should be a bit wary. That being said, you do actually have, this little area of indecision that we need to confirm what the hell's going on first. And this is kind of a little bit of a consolidation region. Naturally, within these moves and stuff like that, you would pump down here, and then you'd fizzle around, and then you'd pump up, and you'd probably be testing this upward area here. And this is like a really, really, really nasty bull trap, because especially we'd be getting above 30K. A lot of people would feel very, very comfortable and very confident. And I think a lot of longs would come in, whereas I do think a very brutal sell-off would come, and a lot of realizing a profit would happen here from the bigger whales, and to bring it slamming back down. So just be wary. I wouldn't probably bet the house on everything once we go above 30K. But first of all, we need to break out this little triangle here, and decide what's going on. So once we do, that gives a bit more of a longer term outlook. I am a little bit bearish. A lot of these shorter term trades I've Shorts I've got set up on the longer term time frames. I do have pretty solid stop losses to accommodate all this. And for the most part, I very rarely see a lot of trades all the way to profit. I'll usually take profit a little bit early, unless I'm sleeping, And then that's what my take profits are really there for, is when I'm not, I'm not paying attention to the charts. Well, not paying attention, but I'm not literally looking at the chart, or I am actively trading. That's what my take profits and stop losses are there for. Otherwise, a lot of the time, I'll base a lot of my take profits on the actual analysis that I'm doing. And if I'm starting to feel like things are turning, a lot of the time you should really just trust your take profits and just let them go. But I'm incredibly impatient. It's not a great trait for a trader, which is why, again, I like scalping and day trading. So it's one of those like life lessons within trading. Like, be a little bit honest with who you are and what you do. If you are, let's say, incredibly impatient and you cannot take losses, I'll probably honestly say trading is not for you. Like, it's really important to understand that. Like, trading is not for everyone. It's actually for quite few people. And a lot of the time you'll see people kind of really forcing it, and it makes it very hard. It's not an enjoyable experience. And I think a lot of people can be a bit misled by the actual end goals. It's not a get rich quick scheme by any stance. You've kind of got to grind it up. If you can grind it up for a long time at the start, then yeah, you can make a lot of money for sure, and quite safely, to be honest. I'll be completely honest. Once your balance gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and providing that your kind of expected standard of living doesn't exceed that per se, you're not instantly buying a Lambo a week kind of thing, then yeah, you can end up trading with like 0.1% of your balance and make a really healthy living. And it's realistically no risk, because in order to get there, you'll probably have a strategy, and that strategy is housed in a 50-60% win rate. So providing you kind of consistently do that, then you'll get there eventually. Bitcoin's turning a little bit. We've just broken back up above the entry. So let's jump back to the scalping chart and see where we're at. So I should have taken my long just there, but I was chatting away. Okay, I can start to sweat a little bit if now we're breaking through this. Shall I take my long? We're still at entry for this long. This doesn't need to be all the way over here. Go away. So the most important thing with these things, when you do get signals, is to not chase them. I suppose we've got the PMI data coming, haven't we? So we need to be a bit wary of that. And that's at 3 p.m. In half an hour. So I think we're going to see some pretty volatile movement. Logically, I should put out a bigger long and then see how that goes. Right, let's pop out just retracing a little bit. So providing we're below this dotted line right here, then that's kind of like we're in a good place. That'd have been better than an entry would have taken instantly. It's looking like a little bit of a rejection. I'm going to put a bit more size on this. Size and stop loss, because like I said, with this PMI data, what happens is we're going to see some volatility coming in. Go as far down as here, actually. Seems a bit excessive, but we can dump down, take profit there. It still gives us enough room, and then pump back up. We almost always see an upwards and downwards move. Once I've been chatting, this price is moving a little bit. So again, I don't want to chase this entry, but so I don't want to miss it. So that's 0.9%. So 111. There you are. God, that took so long. I hate it when that happens. It makes you really want to just put through another order, just in case. And we filled. Okay, so we've got a long and a short going. Hedged. We're going to put a slightly bigger stop loss on the long, because like I said, I'm expecting this PMI data to show a good bit of volatility. So maybe we can actually get really lucky and kind of capture both. If not, realistically, we will end up just kind of breaking even from it all, which I'm pretty cool with, to be honest. Right, now cancel that, please. Now get my limit order set up. So obviously I preach about it a lot because it's worth preaching about. Use MEXC for scalping. My God, it's just amazing. Like it's just such small fees. Close long. And yeah, you can actually conduct quite a lot of trades with 0 fees. There's my long close, brilliant. So that's all set up. We'll see where this goes if we pump up. Now what we're going to see now is I should have taken 2 longs here because it's going to go crazy, and maybe there's still time. Double down on the longs. So what, if it does pop down, retrace a good amount, then I'll take another long. So we do have 2 long signals, and the whole logic of this system is you just take every trade, and if you do that 60 to 70% of the time, it works out for you. Obviously, you do trade in sessions, so what I do advise doing is when you're kind of back testing yourself and everything like that, and doing all of the trading yourself, is just making sure that you kind of fit those parameters within the time that you're likely to trade, which is what I do. I do all my back testing. I do 2 kinds of back testing. One which is 24/7, and then the other one which is just 9 till 5. And that gives me a bit more confidence, I guess. It doesn't really change the future, to be honest, because it's all back testing. But what it does do for me is it gives me a bit more confidence that within those time periods I'm actually trading, we're going to see some good results. And that's what's been happening. That's like we can see just here. I've not been doing anything particularly special. There's been no ninja-like. Oh, we're dumping back down. That's quite good. So we might actually look at taking a long. Woo, this is cool. I'm going to dump right down to 28,434, take that profit really quickly, and then pump straight back up. That's what I want to happen. But what will happen is we will probably heavily commit to one direction, not the band, but the actual direction that we're going to be trading in. So we'll see what happens. We are currently at 2:30. So we've got half an hour until we see data start to come out. At which point, I think people might be hearing about it based on some of this. So we'll kind of play it by ear a little bit. But realistically, what I want to see is, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a dump so I can get into a long again. But it looks like we might be pushing up. Again, it's not the end of the world. This is why it's really good to hedge and listen to your signals. And if I had have taken these 2 trades, pretty much exactly like I was saying earlier on, I should have stopped trying to be so clever and trying to read things, and I should just really listen to the indicator. But once we see this play out, we'll see what happens here. Kind of got half an hour to wait until we're going to see some really exciting movement. And then I can have a dilemma with myself about entering this second long. That's an interesting rejection there. Yeah, back to BTC. So we've got some pretty distinct trend lines on here. And then there is kind of obvious divergence here. But this divergence, in my opinion, it's not an obvious one, but this divergence I feel has already played out a little bit with this. So I do think we could go up a bit further. There is, I believe, a divergence on the 1 hour, which was pointed out, although very rarely look at anything below the 6 hour these days, unless it's for scalping. I just kind of feel 6 hours great. I used to use the daily a lot, then I dropped down to the 12, and then just noticed that the 6 hour really fitted my preferred swing trade style. For the longest time, I was on the 4 hour, which is still great, really, really great. The reason why I switched from this 4 hour was pretty much because of this indicator. I just found that this indicator works so well, so well on the 6 hour that, yes, this is what we want to see. Come on. Perfect. So head on down to here. And then pick that, bounce. Then what we'll do is if it does head down to here and we take profit, I'm not going to take it long straight away. Whilst we are still within the range, I'm not going to risk it too much. Like I'd want to see a solid bounce and come back to about this region. And just in case, because then it puts me in a bit of a tricky position. The other consideration as well is if we come down here, take this profit, and then bounce, I might just close this trade in loss because then we will probably be able to sneak out this day with about 10% total win. And that's just through pretty much like well-coordinated hedging, if you will. It's not really much to it because it's that always question of like, what is better, guaranteed profit or just waiting for that speculative profit to come in? I'm talking like, we're going to make profit. We're not there yet. We've still got a bit of work to do, but we'll get there. Scroll down a bit so you can see. Can't seem to see both trades. Let's move this up. Tiny bit. There we go. You can see both trades now. Actually, up a little bit more. Oh, okay, that's what we're doing. There you go. You can see them. Oh, you can't see the actual things. Okay, that's not the end of the world. We'll keep it like that. Or shall we? There we go. So you can see the short trade, which is doing quite well. And then the long trade, which is just hedging. Just hedging. So right now, like for instance, we could just, what are you doing? What are you doing, TradingView? Go away. Let's get back in there. would dump it back down. This trading view is not actually updating. Let's get this. So that's why you can see a bit of discrepancy with the price going down below. There we go. It's updating a bit quicker now. So you do see some funny price movement, not going to lie, with MEXC every now and again, which does make you question a few things. So with these kind of things in mind, here we go. We're going to see it as we near towards like any kind of Fed announcement. You start to see some quite extreme movement leading up to it. So there's a lot of speculation where, for the people that are in the know, which you can speculate about, or just people trying to like take that punt prior to it, going into it. But it's okay to trade, but not like really super overexposed. I'd say scalps are some of the worst things to be trading when you're going into them, and you almost always want to hedge if you do. This is kind of quite a good example. We are expecting the price to go down. So, like I said, if it does go down, we can literally close the trade here, and that'll be a great trade because we'll end up with pretty much 5%, 5% profit on the, or around about 5%, maybe not full 5%, maybe around about 4% profit, which on top of the earlier 5% is a 9% day. I think for most people, making 9% in a single day trading is pretty awesome. So again, you got to remember that, like it's very very easy to like start to like aim for crazy numbers or want to aim for crazy numbers because you see them on Twitter and you see them on YouTube. But the reality is they are pretty hand-selected trades or hand-selected trading sessions and days that really are made to sell, which is fine. And at the end of the day, like people do need to make a business. People do need to make money. And it's not to say that these strategies don't work. There can be a lot of these people selling these strategies on the belief that it has worked for them and it does work for them. And, that they want to package it and sell it out to everybody else. But, unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work for everybody because certain things may be overlooked. So these things as fees, for instance, like, we see a few kind of bots on, Mizar or Annie, for instance, which are both great trading platforms. But we learned the hard way that when you need to kind of be really conscious of fees. So, for instance, like we have very successful strategies that work on like 0.5%, 0.75% targets. But after fees and everything like that, you're making pennies. Like it's just pointless. If in circumstances where you can be making losses, and with slippage as well, it's all a bit annoying. So you have to be a little bit mindful of that. So when we see some of the products that are doing extremely well, they're top of the leaderboards and stuff like that, but then you look into them and they've got like a 0.5% target on there, and it's just like, it's sad because a lot of people will use these and either not make money or potentially make a loss, hopefully not. But the worst thing is, which we see a lot of the time, is a bit of a neglect for capital preservation of users' funds. And we try our best. We certainly try our best with a lot of our automated systems to always be as safe as possible whilst also making profit in the right balance. And sadly, it's realistically, when you're looking at long-term solutions for automated trading, you kind of, certainly from a retail perspective, you kind of should be expecting around about 10% is really good, and especially in the DCA world, because what you've got to, that's the kind of like the balance, if you will. Like what you've got to consider is if it starts to go beyond that, which, granted, we've made lots of bots in the past that can do 50, 60, 70, even 100% a month. However, that is predicated on certain market conditions and certain things not happening. So when, if there is like a significant dump or pump in one direction, which was unexpected, then that can lead to capital being tied up for, well, indefinitely, to be honest. Or if you're in futures, for instance, you can just get liquidated in one candle. So all of this, 50, 60, 100% profits is for nothing because it's all gone. And yeah, like I said, it's just be mindful. Like when you are looking at automated systems and stuff like that, or investing in them, whether it's ours, whether it's other people's, just do your research. I mean, it sounds like um, such an obvious thing, but so many people don't do it at all. Like they'll do all the research in the world to buy a computer game, but they'll do very little when thinking about investing 10 grand into some random person's automated trading strategy that they saw on TikTok. So it's just that mindset to understand. But the best thing you can do is look at some of the longest running strategies on there. Like so, how long have they been going for? How long have they been making profit for per month? How many users do they have? If they've got a lot of users, then that's kind of quite a good indication. Um, God, is this price is so lagging on TradingView versus the actual chart? There we go. I'll do the way around. So price is dropping down. We are 15 minutes away from excitement. We're currently in total unrealized profit of a whopping 0.5%. So we'll see where that goes. Like I said, I am not. It's proper dropping down. Why is this so unsynced with the actual exchange movement? Let's refresh. Technology. Like I said, I am just dying for the day when we can just trade everything off one screen. You've got your indicators that you can look at. You can just place the trade directly off there. You don't have to flip around to two different screens. That'd just be so nice. I mean, for all of its downsides in being older than the dinosaurs, MT5 is really good for that. You can just do everything off one screen, which I just love. Like the actual order execution is so strong. Yeah, I wish crypto had something a little bit more like that. I do love smart trade platforms, don't get me wrong, but scalping on them is just impossible. Like you can't, that the lag is just too much. Even like using TradingView, as we can see here, it's just like not synced with the price at all. Looks like it's dumping pretty hard, but obviously my everything is going real slow. So that is great news. There we go, that's back up and running. It's just insane how unsynced and lagging it is. Although that could be my internet connection, and this could be absolutely incredible, and I'm just moaning about nothing. But I don't think I am. Price is dropping. We are starting to feel good now about not taking too longs at this stage. If we can just dump down and take profits, then I am really, really tempted to close the trades. $2,507. And watch the exchange price go on, down you go. Currently 1.3% up. Do we think it's going to push down further? Maybe. I does unnerve me a lot just how and sings. Obviously, like, TradingView cannot be ahead of the exchange, surely. Come on, baby, push down. Give me that sweet profit. Or bounce. Or pincer and bounce. Yeah, that'd be great. Right. Ooh, rejected. Back on down. Start going down again. I'm starting to think that MEXC, the actual exchange itself, might be lagging. But yet here TradingView is ahead. That's absolutely insane. That's really, really disconcerting. It could be because I'm live streaming and it is using all my bandwidth. We'll see. Nothing like living on the edge of your seat. A little bit more when scalping. Yeah, you know, we're under NDA at the moment, so we can't talk about it too much, or at all. But we can talk about the general grasp of it. We're actually working towards a solution, or helping work towards a solution that will be a little bit more encompassing, something along the lines of that I was talking about earlier on, in regards to being able to trade pretty much all from one screen, really super fast, like, you know, indicators and stuff being on, available to use, etc., etc. It's really cool and something that we've wanted for a long time. So when we got approached about it, we were super excited to jump on board with that. So with these things, they're never an overnight thing, and yeah, we hope that we can get there. Like I said, it's a project that's kind of quite close to our hearts, in this much that we want it to happen because it's going to help us dramatically. I'm not liking the lag on this at all. We'll see how it plays out. Where's my mouse? What have we got going on? Those smashing down again. So what do we got going on? Latest, Syria calls to abandon the US dollar for global transactions and adopt the Chinese yuan. We're just literally talking about this. So this is going to really, really impact. I think, you know, the dollar, I don't think is going to disappear. Absolutely not. But I do think that it's going to be tested over the next the coming period. So there we go, pushing down. Come on. So like I said, the dream scenario here is to go down, wick this take profit, and then shoot straight back up. Although, as we near this PMI, I'm not so sure that. I think it's going to pick a direction and fucking go. So we'll see. You can see out there is a lot of action going on. You notice I don't actually have the volume on my charts. That is, it's more of an actual decision about, I prefer to have much more real estate on my charts and focus on a few things that I always pay attention to. But volume is good. You know, I think it's really good for identifying the consolidation and when potentially big moves are going to come in. Uh, but if you can look at charts and read charts relatively well, then you can pretty much see that anyway. So general consolidation, you can identify with such things as Bollinger Bands, just really by eye, uh, doing ranges, and so forth. But yeah, consolidation is really key to identifying the next big move. Oh no, don't do that. Come on, don't you get any big ideas about bouncing? It's very confusing though why there really is such a discrepancy between MEXC and TradingView. This is one of the big things, So MEXC TradingView chart seems to be behind. Let's go on the original, see if that's any better. I mean, that bounce, that was going to be it. If it's not breaking back up. Oh, it's showing some strength. Eesh. Come on now. You just fail and drop down to 28,437 and then find all the strength in the world and pump. That's what we need you to do, Bitcoin. And then give me a nice successful stream and some more sweet percent for the month. Like I said, I want to target around about 100%, and then we can look at the next steps to increase in the overall investment. But right now, you're toying with my emotions, so we'll stop looking at you. Have a look at some other opportunities. I've got a signal on ENJ, engine. Very wiki. First things I do is I look for kind of key significant breaks, get my trend lines drawn on almost immediately, start to try and identify if there's anything spectacular going on. First thing that jumps out to me quite heavily here is, we've broken through the 20 and 50 DMA. We've come back and tested it. Not only that, we've broken through this rising trend line and retested it. We're pumping down. We're now at kind of very key support. So do one or two things. I'm half tempted to take this is a very nice sort of short potential. Just keep an eye on that BTC. Right. And that should have taken profit, but we are $28,434. Why is this so fucking behind? really concerning. Should have taken profit. It's like it's not even the same asset. There we go. Order filled completely. Thank you for finally getting there. It's very nice of you. Now let's see, what do we want to do with this? What do we want to do with this long? Should we see if it bounces? Or should we see if it, should we just close it and just take that profit for the day? Just in case you were wondering. I'm just going to close that, to be honest, and just take 5% profit. Yep, just going to close that. Order submission successful. Just close that trade. Come on. Today. God, that's terrifying how fucking laggy that is. It just must be because I'm streaming. I need to get a better, more internet. More internet. So all in all, we are 5%, 10% up on the day, which is pretty good going. I am really happy as well because I've just closed all trades 1 minute before the PMI comes out. Heavily in profit, which is awesome. And then let's see what goes on. So here we go. Oh, thank God we got out of that trade. Awesome. I would have hit that stop loss, but we've closed it up here. It was a flash close, so I'm not super happy about that, but it's very tricky to close those in a limit order when they're in loss. So it's only showing $8 profit there. Okay, so 3% profit there, which we'll take for the day. And then we've got on top of the 5% from earlier, 8% profit on the day. If we would have opened those two longs, we would have got absolutely smashed. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, look at this price. It's going crazy beans. Awesome. All right, let's just, I think we're going to hold off on any scalps now. Just until the price settles down a little bit. So what does that put us for the day? Or about 56, 57%. 56%. Okay. Yeah, I can live with that. You know, 8% for the day. Saying 4.34%. Okay, yeah. So it's not 8%. It's 6.5%. That is because we've got a $150 balance, and that's based on the P&L. So that's fair enough. So this is where we are now. 50. I think we can say that's $56. 56% up in. Let's start trading on the 20th. Since the 20th. And then look at that. This is what it'll do. Go down. It absolutely wrecks my two longs just here. But also, you know, there'd been an incentive to take these shorts as well, which we could potentially, you know, be getting wrecked on these as well. So you've really just got to be super careful trading into these really nasty kind of like periods. But yeah, I think we'll call it a day there, to be honest, guys. Like, I know it's not quite 10% for the day, but we've got 6.5% up on the day. No more than that. Yeah, 6.5% up on the day, which we can live with. And yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm very cool with that. Got a couple of shorts out. Let's see what the PMI data came in as, actually. 47.1. I think bearish. But then who knows with all this, how it's translated. Come on, somebody tell me. Okay, guys. Okay. Well, that's a couple of trades. So we took a nice little short on RNDR. Let's see how that's going. Where are you? There you are. Short. Some good basis behind it. Yeah, we're in pretty good position on that already. It's already started to reject. It's almost 1% up or down already. We were actually looking just before this at ENJ, which is looking pretty nice. There's a lot of price action here, though, so I kind of want to see this little section break. I've got that trend line out. Kind of want to see this little trend line break, which I think might happen, actually. Where could we be going down to is the question. What is the trade? Be a bit of a shame, though, because not too bad. So you can chase trades a little bit with the 6 hour. That's not a crazy stop loss either, but the big question is, does that bring it in? Yeah. Which support does that bring it closest to? So just be a little bit mindful when setting these supports. Like this would obviously, if it does break down, I think it's going to break down quite far, but there is this key support here and this key support here where it could hold. So just be a little bit conscious when doing the longer term swings with the indicator, because it gives you great entries and a good incentive that the price will probably move in that direction. But where it moves to is a different story. So that I guess is where you can like really input a lot of your technical analysis experience there and find out if it's a good call to be plonking your take profit where you do. I do currently have quite a few shorts open, so I don't like to overload. So for now, for instance, I've just entered one short at 1 p.m., which is RNDR. ENJ is looking great for sure, but I probably won't enter that until maybe 7 o'clock, or wait until signals come in at 7 o'clock and then look at them then. Equally at 7 a.m. this morning. So what I'm saying is I'll pretty much only enter one swing every period, is not to over congest it. Because if the price goes down, then great, you know, that's great. But we've already got more shorts open. We've also got an RNDR short. And equally, if it bounces and retraces back up, then we're just going to double down on that loss, which we don't want to do. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up my stream for today. Looks like we're bouncing a little bit. Make sure you check us out if you're not already. And you get a 7-day free trial on all of our services, whether it's the signals or the indicator or the bots. You can try it all for free, and equally as well on TradingView, you can use the paper trading to just completely use it risk-free. So you can use the indicator for free. You can trade with pretend money for free and get a real feel for it. Make sure that it's something that suits you. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching. We will